Today is June 7th, 2022. We're at the East Coast Music Hall of Fame Gala in Atlantic City with one of the real gentlemen of our music, the bass singer of the group The Clovers, and the last living member, Harold Winley. Man, it's so great to be able to sit here and spend some time with you.
Thank you, man. It's really a pleasure. And I wanted to say to your fans to keep listening.
How'd the group come together back then?
Well, the group was together. There was a group called the Four Clovers: Buddy Bailey, Harold Lucas, Billy Shelton, and Tommy Woods. They were known as the Four Clovers. They sang around D.C. schools and hops and so forth. And I had been away from D.C. for a while, but I came back to Washington and was working in a grocery store. And on Sunday morning, they had this amateur hour. It was put on by one of the department stores in D.C., Morton's. And it was on radio station WWDC, and Jackson Lowe was the front of that, the front man for that program, amateur hour, you know. And I was working one Sunday, and I heard these guys singing, "Yes, Sir, That's My Baby." I said, oh, my God, I never heard such harmony. It's so tight, you know. And I said, I'm going down there. So I decided to, Frankie Lane was very new and big. He had Lucky Old Son out. And I went to a music store, got the music, and went down there the next week. And that's how I met them. And, of course, when we got through singing, I won that week, and they won the week they were on. So that means the thing runs for 13 weeks. At the end of 13 weeks, all the winners get together and have a, you know. So I just kept showing up at their rehearsals, and Tommy Woods, he was a very good bass singer. You know, he had a girlfriend, and she had eyes on something else that she wanted him to do. But he was working. But she just, you know, going out, hanging out with us, you know, and so forth. She liked us and this and that, but she just wanted him to, you know, look for something else to do, you know.
Do his thing.
Yeah, so I just kept showing up, man, and eventually that's how that group did it. And that happened with a lot of groups, you know. And the guy drifts away, Shelton drifted away, and Tommy drifted away, and then in the meantime, they're picking up other guys that had come into groups to sing, like McQuaid. Although he was at Howard University at the time, he lived in the neighborhood, and he knew some people that they knew, and he'd come by and sing every now and then. He sang second tenor. So that's how he got into the group, finally got in the group. So I just stayed with the group, and we ended up getting a meeting Ahmet Ertegun from Atlantic Records, and in the meantime, in the interim, we met Lou Kravitz, the guy became our manager, and trying to bring this thing up as fast as I can.
When did the first recording come about, and what was
1951, Don't You Know I Love You? Ahmet Ertegun wrote it.
Okay.
And we had recorded Yes, Sir, That's My Baby. We had 2 recording sessions that year. We recorded Yes, Sir, That's My Baby early in the year, and later on in the year we recorded, middle of the year we recorded Don't You Know I Love You, which Ahmet Ertegun wrote, and it became a hit. Yes, Sir, That's My Baby. That's still my favorite song. You know, it's still my favorite song from the group. And
how much later were the songs like Lovey Dovey, Devil or Angel, and One Mint Julep?
Right in succession with Atlantic. If you check the history, they came right behind the other, because Ahmet was writing them, and then Mint Julep, that was Rudy Toombs. We were just fortunate, man. All of a sudden, you know, you're struggling to get this thing out, do something, change our style of singing, and all of a sudden, this guy's writing these songs, and every one of them hits. One of them had a couple of 2-sided hits, you know. So we were very fortunate. Right on up there, that ran for about 8-9 years. It ran because Devil and Angel, last thing, carried us up until the 1960.
One of my favorite songs by your group. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It carried us, but when I said up there that we were going to Italy, we went over there and we came back, man, we were out of, no people know about no Clovers. The whole thing had changed, you know. Lloyd Price was big, and Fats Domino had surfaced, you know, he'd been out there for years, and the whole music thing was changing when we got back there. So And the announcement our manager made when we got off the ship was, "You're no longer with Atlantic Records, so you just keep on." He had power of attorney, no question, no, that was the end of the conversation, you know.
That was the business, wasn't it, huh?
Yeah. That was that business, and next thing with United, I got you signed up with this guy and these guys. He knew Jerry and Mike, and we knew them. But we knew them when they were younger, just like I met Paul Anka when he was a young man trying to get Sam Cooke to sing a song, Sonny Bono. Sonny Bono was a songwriter. He chased Sam Cooke all over Hollywood, you know. And this is what happened with us. Look at the records, and you look at the back, the name, Nugetri, that's Ahmet Ertegun spelled backwards.
I didn't know that.
Well, hell, his father's the ambassador to the United States, and he didn't want his rich friends to know to know he was doing what he was doing.
Wow.
Although he borrowed $10,000 from a Turkish doctor, he used to come to the session, he'd sit right there and never open his mouth, just smile. I'm telling you, never smile, never open his mouth.
How about some past memories? What about the Joe Louis show?
Oh, that was a great show.
Yeah.
That 6 weeks and 4 days, that was one of the greatest shows, man.
The Old Rose and the Howard Theater, Joe Louis. I mean, those are some of fond memories, aren't they?
Yeah, the Old Rose. That's where we woodshed it. That was after hour joint from the 30s, and it was after hour joint. But they had a piano right at the window on the street, and had piano players come there on weekends and play all night long, man, to daybreak. And you would think something would happen, nothing happened. But this man also owned a place across the street from the Howard Theater called the Stage Door. That's the same man, Herb Saunders. It wasn't really what I call a hotel, because they only had one bathroom over there, but they had one of the longest bars in Washington, and then right across from the theater, so it was a gathering spot, you know. We're lucky, man. We were more than lucky. The way, even the way the business was set up, even till today, because of the way it was set up then, that we were still able to, we still get our money from Atlantic Records. We never really had no problem with them. Ruth Brown did, but we never had no problem with them. We still get our royalties and from Atlantic or from Love Potion number 9 and other things, monies that they put in, they had to put up back then that day for their artists from American, what is it? AFTRA.
Oh, yeah, AFTRA, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so you get, it's pensions and stuff come from that stuff now, you know. So,
yeah, you're lucky, though, because you work
yeah, I'm
with some
saying
good
I'm looking at us and then looking at what happened to other guys, man. Guys did get a job. They didn't get a penny for that record. Mm-hmm. They didn't even get session money. They give you session money. Bullshit. You know, it's your money.
Yeah.
Because you pay for everything except for the rental of the hall.
Yeah.
They didn't get no money.
I just finished a book by Tommy James, and his guy was I'm drawing a blank. In New York, the mobster guy, Morris Levy.
Morris Levy, yeah.
Morris Levy never paid him for any recording session. He said you earn your money when you're on the road, and towards the end, when Tommy finally got smart, he tried to sue him, and he went to him and said, my attorney figured out you owe me $30 to $40 million. He said, try to get it.
Yeah, well, the teenagers, you know, they did that thing, you know, but they waited too late. They could have gotten their money, but Morris was smart, and he owned Birdland, and he's right across the street there looking at the door, you know. But his thing with the teenagers was tragic, man. Those guys having dissension among themselves, didn't have enough sense to come together to go after this man sooner. And the judge said, you know, you should have did this 20 years ago. You know, 20 years ago, he wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the way that happened, man.
Yeah. I talked to Marlon a while back, and you know, you guys have enjoyed your music the last 10 years because you've been very active. You haven't given it up. You stayed with it. And he said, make sure you ask him about King Green.
Yeah, King Raymond Green is the one that brought me back out here. I thought I'd see the guy from what's the name from Boston, Todd Baptiste.
Baptiste, yep.
And the guy that was promoting
Fox? Dick Fox?
No, not Dick Fox. The other guy that does the promoting up there. You know,
Belniak from the New England Doo Wop Society.
He called me and asked me if I would do the show. You know, come up there to sing with the Clovers. And King was with that group that he had there. You know, and I said, yeah. So that just got me back reintroduced to that group, and he just kept calling me, man, and you know, and.
How long had it been since you performed before you got back together with him?
Oh, well, I don't know, maybe, because I was with the Ink Spots, man.
Yeah,
I was with
right.
Jim Nabby. I don't know if you know Jim Nabby, anything about the Four Tunes or the Brown Dots. The Brown Dots was a group that Deke Watson formed after he left the Ink Spots. And Jim Nabby was part of that group. And then they also, he worked with Deke Watson, and then they went back to the Ink Spot routine. But he had a lot of good lead singers in there. Sonny Till of the Orioles was in that group. Buddy Baylor from the Clovers was in that group. I was in the group. He had George Smith, who was with Lionel Hampton's band, in that group. In that group. And he had a lot of other guys in that group, you know. But I got with him because he's a very classy guy. I said, if I go out there, I'm going to go out there with somebody that's doing something, because I knew the type of jobs he did, and you know, and it was different. And so I ended up, the organization grew, and I stayed there for 25 years.
Wow.
Go ahead.
You've been recognized by 5 different halls of fame. You've had an incredible career, but you, along with so many others, and we just come out of a discussion that Charlie Horner put on, have not been recognized by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I call the Music Hall of Fame, because rock and roll should not be in that name.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you feel about that?
It doesn't bother me. Honestly, it don't bother me. You know, I tell anybody when they say, well, the Armored Erdogan room is there, and you have to pay to go in there, but you can go in there and see. You know, they talk about the Clovers in there.
He was kind of responsible, wasn't he, Armored?
Well, he put the Atlantic Records. The people, Ruth Brown, that's where we come back. See, the truth, the money that Armored said himself in print. If the Clovers didn't do what they had done with the records and record sales, we couldn't have been stayed in business. Now, he said that himself. You understand? So he takes the seed money, and we kept him in business, Ruth Brown, you know, and then Big Joe Turner, you know, and who else was there? They had the Cardinals, that singing group out of Baltimore, the Cardinals.
Great group.
Yeah, and that seed money from there. But the main thing they mentioned was the Clovers, you know. But that don't bother me, man, because
Yeah, but there's so many groups that should be in there, and someone said on the panel that they've already said that no more 50s groups in the Hall of Fame. You said that.
I said that. They said that a couple of years ago.
That's a shame.
So that don't bother me, man, you know.
Yeah, it should. You know, you've gotten recognized here. You know what you accomplished.
I know who I am, and they don't, you know. And it's not about that, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I just wish them the best, you know. But
Harold Winley, you've been doing this for a long, long time. Are you getting ready to say, I've had enough and call it a career?
I'm getting ready to say that right now. If I can get up out of this chair.
Is that breaking news, huh?
Well, I probably will, man. I figure if I hang in another year, I'll be doing it. If I turn 90, I'm going to, you know.
Thank you, my friend. I know you're tired, and I appreciate you doing that. I really do. You're a gentleman.
All right, Glenn.
Thank you, sir.